Andre, can you believe it? We have entered the era of the $100,000 pickup truck. And even saying that makes me want to swoon, because here we have our Tesla Cybertruck, which costs $100,000. If it was a Cyber Beast, it'd be $120,000. But there are also many other pickup trucks, both electric and non-electric, that are over 100K. So we're talking about the Hummer EV. We're talking about, well, one of your favorites, the Super Duty.
Yes, I was just at the local Ford dealership recently, and I saw an F-350 4x4 Power Stroke diesel Tremor with a winch. It was how much?
105.
104,000. You're right.
I'm close. Yeah.
$104,000.
And of course, you can do the same thing with the Duramax. You can do the same thing with the Cummins. And in this video, we're going to talk about what the heck is happening to the truck market. Why are all these expensive trucks now, over 100K? And of course, we're going to compare the Lightning, which is also close to 100K. How much is this guy that we have here?
Well, this is a Lariat Lightning F-150, 84,000 before tax incentives and whatnot.
Yeah. So we're going to compare the Lightning to the Cybertruck, and then we're going to talk about the state of the truck market, which is a little mind-blowing. So, hey, why don't we start where we always start, and that is with the front. And this time, let's do a race of frunks. See which frunk opens up quicker. All right.
Notice something, guys. Roman pulled out his phone because his phone is a key. But now my phone is also a key, but I also have a Ford key in my pocket. So are we going to be racing our applications as well?
Yeah, we'll race to see whose frunk opens up quicker.
Hold on a second. Wait. I don't know if I can control my frunk through here.
Oh, Ford's already losing, Andre. You
Energy, vehicle, controls. Oh yeah, I do.
All right.
I can.
All right, here, ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, Ford. You could do this. Up.
Ah, we're doing there. It's stuck.
Oh. But Roman, okay, you won on speed. Yeah. Both of us used our apps.
That's cool.
But look at how tiny your frunk is. It's minuscule.
Well, I do feel inadequate, Andre.
Watch
I think
this.
I could barely get a set of golf clubs in here.
Watch this.
Yeah.
My son was playing soccer on Saturday, just 2 days ago. And I pulled up to the soccer field. It was really sunny, very hot. I was covered. I was sitting and watching a soccer game like this, and it's this 14 cubic feet of space.
So you were front gating?
I was front gating a soccer game, yes.
I could sit in mine too. Look, I got cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's tiny, Roman.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Yeah, but I can sit in here. It's not horrible. So yeah, one of the great things about the F-150, obviously, is that the Lightning is very much a traditional truck in terms of its design, whereas the Cybertruck is anything but.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right, Roman. I mean, prices are creeping up no matter what you're buying. Diesel trucks, electric trucks, or maybe even cars now.
Yeah, all right. And then look, we both have recovery points.
Yes. I have parking sensors, Roman. You don't.
I have this. I'll show you what I have. Let me close it. Where's my little closer? Oh, there it is. No, that's not. Yeah, that is it.
You push this.
Oh, that's the emergency. All right, I think we pushed it. There it goes. So I have a camera somewhere in here, which isn't as good.
It's on the bumper.
Yeah, there's the camera. It's hiding down there. So that certainly isn't as good as your little ultrasonic sensors, but they both have this long light across the front, which is now the kind of the design language of electric vehicles. In fact, all vehicles. Yours lights up, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, so in 2019, Elon Musk introduced the concept of the Cybertruck, and just 2 years later, like late 2021, Ford already had this on sale, Roman.
Did mine light up?
Yeah,
okay.
It's now lit.
Yeah, I could.
So really, I mean, Tesla kind of called Ford out. You know, they did the tug of war originally, 5 years ago on video. And I think, Ford is answering, but are they answering, in a dominant way? That's the question.
Yeah, so from a style perspective, this already looks a little dated to me. Now, if you guys have been watching TFL, you know that we bought a Lightning in Detroit, and we drove it all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. And there was all that coverage of these guys who drove a Cybertruck from Florida up to Prudhoe Bay, or two Cybertrucks last week. We did it like 3 years ago. I kind of feel like we never get any credit, Andre.
No, we don't. It was impossible. It was very, very difficult.
Yeah, we were the first to drive a truck as far north in America as you can, and yet everybody was talking about the Cybertrucks, and that is because whether you love it or hate it, the Cybertruck does tend to suck the air out of the room because it is such an unusual design. Now, my friend Dan Neal, who writes for the Wall Street Journal, just put out a story this weekend. You read it. Well, I actually talked to him about it.
Okay.
I saw him on a program recently, and he had gone around and he had asked all the designers at Pebble Beach what they thought was the most significant new vehicle. I'm using the word vehicle here on purpose.
To be like collectible in the future?
Exactly.
Okay.
And they didn't say the Lamborghini Revuelto. No, they did not say that. The Rolls-Royce Spectre.
No?
No, they said this.
No way.
Yeah, the Cybertruck. Yeah. People in the know said the Cybertruck, and I'm sounding like a Tesla fanboy because I guess in some ways I am. I just do think that this design is groundbreaking and it's incredibly polarizing. But like those designers said, this is something that's completely different.
Justin wants to know which truck has the most powerful windshield wiper motor.
Well, I have one, but you have two.
I think yours is more powerful because it has to move that giant, whatever that is.
Yeah, I have this giant windshield wiper,
so
which breaks a lot of rules. But in general, it works. We don't live in a place with a lot of rain, or at least
this is not Seattle.
Yeah, and we haven't had it when there's been snow yet. So I'm curious to see how it works when it actually snows, and it has to not just move water but snow. But so far, all the issues that people have said with these, we have not had. There is, I think, a recall on the motor, which we have not done yet, but that is one of the recalls that this truck has.
So our producer and marketing director, Grant, we drove to Iowa recently, and we have a video coming up on alltfl.com. Roman is wearing that shirt, where we did the drag race with a Cybertruck and several different TRX trucks, Ram TRXs. And we were driving in Iowa, and the wiper had a mind of its own. Like it would lower the wiper this way, and it would drive like that for like a minute, and then it would just go back.
It doesn't. I thought that too, but it doesn't have a mind of its own. That's actually the way it's programmed. So
what does that do? What is it doing?
Well, so what it's doing, and when I first saw it, I thought it was like being weird, but it doesn't live in this position. It lives in this position when it's off. When the wipers are on, it lives in this position down here. And
I've never seen that.
Yeah. So when the wipers are on, it lives in this position, and then it'll swipe the windshield, and it'll come back to this position. And then if it stops raining, after about 30 seconds, it goes back to this position. But when it stays here, it kind of freaks the driver out because he's like, it belongs up here and not down here, and so you tend to want to keep it here. But when it's working in intermittent mode, it stays here, not up here. I don't know why that is. It could be because Tesla's trying to keep water from getting on the windshield from the hood. That would be my guess at it, but that's where it lives when it's actually on.
Now, Justin has more questions. I think these are really good questions.
Justin, thank you. Really appreciate
Justin, thank you for watching as well. He says, which truck has the best headlamps at night? No. So you've been driving the Cybertruck. Are you pretty happy? The main headlamps are down here.
Yeah, they're actually really good. You would think that being so low, they would not be good. But
so the main headlamp is actually here.
Yeah, I have no complaints about the headlamps, Andre.
So I have one complaint.
Yeah.
I remember, when was it, April-ish time frame, when there was still snow on some roads. People said it gets caked in with snow.
Oh, that's a good point.
On the highway.
Yeah, sure.
And there is no heat, not a lot of heat that they're producing.
They're LEDs, yeah.
So it could be an issue for that. These headlamps on the Lariat are actually, they're powered, so they swivel sometimes with the steering. So I think both of them have really excellent headlamps.
You know what swivels on the Cybertruck?
What?
It doesn't? The rear wheels.
Ugh.
I've really gotten used to having all-wheel steering, and the nice part about having all-wheel steering, here, I'll show you. I can show you. You can see them turn. The nice part about it is it makes parking a very big truck much easier. So they move up to 10 degrees. So let me show you, Andre. So
by the way, we could power these trucks up indoors anytime. Whoa.
So that's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, it is cool, and it was also very loud.
Yeah, but it makes the truck much more maneuverable.
There's no doubt. And also for 100 grand, I mean, this is a dual motor truck. This is also a dual motor truck. They have almost the same power, 600 horsepower, 580. It's not a coincidence. But you also have air suspension. This doesn't.
Yeah, and the problem we had when we had our Lightning was it doesn't have enough ground clearance. So this, in its extract mode, can go up to 16 inches above the ground. I think that is barely 9.
It's like 9-ish, over 9.
Yeah, it's not great. And the wheels and tires are also very different. I mean, these obviously are much bigger. I think this is rolling on what, 35s?
Yes.
Whereas this is on 32s-ish.
This has a rear locker, though.
This has a front and a rear locker. Oh.
So see, they're pretty close.
They are pretty close.
They're pretty close as far as, I mean, they're kind of thinking about, let's walk over this way because I want to look at the beds really quick. Traditional bedroom, and this is, by the way, kind of tall though.
Yeah, but you can get over. You know what I always hate when you get a new truck? When you don't have the bed liner, because to me, this is naked. I think if you're going to use a truck as a truck, this is just going to get rusty and torn up very quickly. And so I think Ford obviously charges, I think it's what, $600 now, $700?
Yeah, $600.
They have it bed lined at the factory. But the new Cybertruck, and not just the Cybertruck, but like the Toyotas, they don't worry about bed lining, right? And neither does Chevy, because it's a composite material. So some people have had issues with this composite material. And ours, as you can see, it's, we've put, over 8,000 miles on this now. And you can kind of see there's some places where it's getting scratched up. And it's not.
But it's pretty tough in general.
Yeah, over there.
I mean, it's not going to get like a puncture. It's really hard to puncture this.
Yeah, and then the other thing that you need in a traditional truck is kind of a headache rack. Mm-hmm. My friend Alex found that out when he loaded up some cinder blocks and stopped too quickly and it just went flying. Here, you're basically using the tonneau cover, right?
Which almost works.
Yeah. You have a headache block. So the downside to all that is you really can't see out the back.
Yeah, there is almost no visibility, and also I can't reach here, right?
You can't reach here.
And I'm almost 6'3".
But like the Honda, you do have a little cubby hole down here. And by the way, this little cover for the
hitch receiver,
is just a pain in the butt.
So we decided to leave it off.
Yeah, we just leave it off.
A proper truck, Roman, will have its hitch shown. You want to show your hitch.
Exactly.
But I have a couple of complaints on about the Ford, Roman.
Hey, I've got some about the Cybertruck too. So
should I start complaining?
Well, that's one of the things the Cybertruck doesn't do, right? I have to actually, look at this, I have to manually, and then it just closes, soft closes the rest of the way.
I mean, they could have done
the whole thing.
Automatic close.
Yeah, for 100K, it'd be nice. All right, so what are your, and then we'll go through the inside, but what are your complaints? And actually, before we do that, the other complaint I have, come on over here, Cole, is the bed actually narrows in and then narrows down. So it's not a box. So if you put, say, 2 boxes in here, as you get farther toward the cab, it actually becomes narrower. And that's not grand because it's kind of weird to put square things in this kind of non-square box, whereas the Ford has a traditional square bed.
Exactly.
Oh, that was a little boo-boo. Four-wheel steering caused us to tightly turn with the trailer attached, and we hit the side of the bumper, and then.
This is plastic, Roman. What the heck? I mean, real trucks have steel bumpers, my friend.
Well, luckily I was able to hammer it out. Sort of, kind of, because it's plastic.
So a couple of questions. I believe it's Parker is asking, how long are we going to keep this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually wanted to ask you guys how long we should keep it.
Yeah.
So when we bought the truck, Tesla made us sign a contract saying that we would hold on to it for a year.
Yes.
But they're no longer enforcing those contracts.
Okay, so we're more free
to sell it. But part of the $100,000 was the ability for this to actually charge and power a house. So I installed the Tesla charger at our house, and it's 2 ways, right? It's vehicle to load. So you could plug it in and charge the truck, or you could plug it in and power the house. Unfortunately, because of our crappy company here, Excel, they have not yet allowed the
Tesla
system? System to be activated. So I'm waiting for that to be turned on. So
and by the way, you used your own money or to actually do the labor at your house.
Yes.
Right?
It was like $2,000.
Yeah, which is not, it's not free. No. It's not something you just install.
It is free if you buy the Cyberbeast. You get like a credit.
Okay.
But that's 120.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I want to try powering my house with this, so I'm waiting for Excel to like give us the thumbs up so we can actually do it. But I kind of like this truck, Andre, and it's very useful as a trucky truck. People say it's not, like you see a lot of reviews and they say it's not a truck. I disagree. I think it's very useful, and I especially like the rolling tonneau cover that covers up the bed. Like I was at the airport picking up my friends and they had a boatload of luggage and it started raining, no problem. That, big problem.
Sorry, that question came from Cameraman 101.
So here's
yes.
the answer to your question. What do you guys want? I mean, at the end of the day, if you guys are bored of this, then we'll move it on and get something else. But if you're still interested in the Cybertruck and if you want to see videos with it, then we'll keep making videos. So it's up to you. Let us know in the comments.
Cameraman wants to see the naked stainless steel in the winter, surviving salt, snow, etc. That's what Cameraman wants to see.
You know, there'll be plenty of other stainless steel trucks where you could see that Cameraman.
Do you love this?
I like the I like the wrap. People keep giving us thumbs up, and I think it makes it a lot more interesting to drive than the refrigerator that is this traditional stainless steel. So I'm sure there'll be other YouTubers and owners out there who, in a heartbeat, will post videos about how reliable and how hard wearing that is.
They're similar on capability. So several of you guys in the comments, thank you for commenting, said that Cybertruck has about 2,000 pounds of payload. The
what's the sticker say?
F-150.
Let's go look.
F-150 has, just check it out.
Yeah, see what the payload is.
1,763 pounds. So it's a bit less than this particular Cybertruck. But Roman, this has a lot of options. This is a Lariat with a panoramic sunroof, leather seats, ventilated and cooled seats. It's got a lot of extra equipment. But here are a couple of my gripes. Are you ready?
Oh no, before you do that.
What?
How much is a tow?
10,000.
And that's
so Ford tows up to 10,000, Cybertruck up to 11,000.
So a little bit more towing in the Cybertruck, but if you want to go across country, this and that are both problematic.
Yeah, because even though the Tesla network is really, really good, you still can't go very far, right?
Yeah. So, but there is an issue, and we found that with our truck. So both have about the same size battery, right? They're like 120-ish kilowatt hours, both.
This is 131, 122.
Yeah. So that one is rated at 320-ish.
So is this.
Yeah.
But we've never done 320 in either truck.
Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I'm just going to message my son that I can't talk right now.
So here's the thing about these two trucks. Like both of them basically have 320-mile stated ranges, right, on a full charge. But no matter how we drive this, have you ever seen over 300 in this truck?
No.
It's usually like 280, 290, right?
But I never saw over 300 in this truck either.
No, and the same thing here. Even though I recently did a Denver 100 MPG loop with this truck and also a gas-powered truck, that video is still coming. We got close to 300, but you'll have to watch the video and see what happened.
Yeah, and the other problem, of course, is that that uses the Tesla supercharger as a native. This Ford now, you can also use them
with an adapter.
With an adapter, but that is an 800-volt architecture. So if you could find the latest, greatest version of the superchargers out there, this will charge a lot quicker than this.
Yes.
So this is a traditional 400-volt architecture. And when we had this, I never saw more than like 140. To be fair, I've never seen more than 140 on that either. But I've never plugged it into a supercharger.
So reality is sometimes not what the billboard says.
Yeah,
right?
that can deliver more.
Here's my gripe.
All right, so what are your gripes?
Can you open the bed again? Because that's part of my gripe.
All right, let's open the bed.
And Cole, if you can go over there. When the F-150 hybrid first came out and the Lightning first came out, you had 7.2 kilowatts of inverter power.
Yes.
This Lariat at $84,000 doesn't have the full capability. So Ford, they're doing kind of different packages. This is a 2.4 kilowatt system here. There's also an outlet in the bed, but it makes the truck less useful, right? I mean, this truck is amazing for powering your campsites, your job sites,
a camper
with air conditioning. And I'm kind of bummed. Do you remember that Nathan and I went to Rifle, Colorado, and we got a work truck, Lightning, remember that?
Yeah.
And that was $42,000, Roman. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Lightnings used to be so incredibly affordable. and now Lightnings are not affordable
So
anymore.
how much power does this output?
This is about the same as a Lightning could. This is 240 circuit, and these are 120s, and I believe it's up to like 7.2.
Yeah.
And you can add some more, if you're running multiple outlets, the total power of this truck is a little bit higher than the Ford's.
So Ford also does a vehicle to load where you could power your house, but it's an older system, and we never got ours to work. It was just too cumbersome and too hard. Whereas this, it's kind of all integrated into the Tesla world. So
which includes Tesla Solar, right?
Yeah.
And power walls,
yeah, exactly.
and all that stuff.
So the control box that came along with this also would power a power wall if you had it, also would do solar panels if you had them, and so it's much more integrated. It's also integrated into your phone. So like mine says on the Tesla app, I'll show you. Where is it here? It shows you that the charging, where's charging here? Come on, charging. The charge status is both ways.
Yeah, when you're plugged in.
When you're plugged in, yeah.
Dude, so Ford improved their app too a little bit. So you could look at charge history. You can review, different charge sessions if this ever loads. That's one of the issues I noticed with Ford.
Yeah.
Infotainment system and app. It takes a few seconds to load certain things.
Now let's talk about more charging issues. So you had an issue charging this at home because you've got a level 2 charger at your house. Tell me what happened.
Let's walk over there.
Yeah, why don't you jump in the truck and we'll show you guys. I'll take the laptop, Andre.
So this is where my port is, right? Ford puts it up front. That's not that much of a problem, actually. I think this is a pretty good place to have it versus the rear on the Cybertruck. But then I have an older home. My home is like 32 years old? Oh, by the way, it loaded, Roman.
Wahoo.
I could see my history.
Nice.
I plugged in my truck, level 2. I have a 240 volt circuit in my garage. And the truck started asking for charging. And all of a sudden, like a minute later, my circuit breaker, my fuse tripped.
You blew your fuse.
I blew a fuse in my house.
It was trying to get 48 amps, right?
It was trying to pull like over 40 amps. And my circuit in my old home is only about 30 amps. And this truck, let me show you, doesn't really have a way, yeah, Cole is gonna walk around. Doesn't really have a way to lower the amperage, to tell the truck, please don't ask for so much amperage. So here's my state of charge, EV driving history, one-time maximum charge limit, but I don't have a lot of control in this screen.
Yeah.
How about the Tesla?
Yeah, that's the exact opposite actually. So Cole, if you come over here you go, Andrew. I'll switch with you. I'll take the.
Okay.
I'll give you the laptop and I'll show you guys. So the Cybertruck is just a lot more configurable in a lot of different ways. So. Obviously, the interior is much more minimalist, so only buttons really are on the steering wheel. But if you go to charging, there's a state of charge, but you can actually set how many amps right there you want the vehicle to suck up. So if I were at Andre's house and I only had a 30 amp fuse, I could set this to, whatever I wanted it to. And then the truck would only require this much. So the way Andre had to do it, of course, was he has a juice box charger, so he had to go and configure the juice box, but he couldn't configure it within the truck.
Exactly.
And so that's really nice. I mean, let's face it, Tesla just has a much better interface when it comes to everything. It's just super easy to navigate and super easy to use. It's very intuitive. All your main controls are here. And what is kind of funky for all you guys who are not used to the way Tesla does stuff is this is actually your gear selector. So right now it's in P, but if I put my foot on the brake, close my door, and I want to select drive, all I do is go bloop. And now I'm doing forward, or if I want to go in reverse, I go in reverse. And if you're wondering, what do you do in case the screen's not working? Up here, actually, you can't see them right here, but up there, just turn down those. There's also a set of controls that let you do basically the same thing. I don't know how you can activate those. There they are, right there. More traditional.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it traditional, Roman. It's on your ceiling for bejeebies.
Good point, Andre. For Tesla, it's more traditional. All right, good. All right.
So, Roman, I want to say a special thank you to one of our longtime viewers and supporters, Kevin Hawthorne.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, I really appreciate you watching. He's from Lakeland, Florida. Also, Coco Landia says we should forget all this and buy a BYD.
Yeah, how are you going to do that? Move to China or Mexico? Andre?
No, Mexico.
Or Brazil.
Roman, why don't you open the Mexico office?
The other thing that,
field office
that the truck does is because it's got all the cameras, I have it set to be recording, and so it's recording, from all the different camera angles. And if there's ever an accident, it actually saves that recording. And last week the story was that in California, police are actually confiscating Teslas so that they can get at the video, so they can know what actually happened in an accident, or if it's a hit and run, or if it's even a shooting. Basically, there's cameras completely around this truck, and those are always recording. And then you've got Sentry mode, so that if you are, let's say, someplace and you're worried about the truck, you can turn on Sentry mode, and then all the cameras are also recording. And yeah, even when the truck is parked. All right, shall we go back out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I was going to make another comment about like Ford versus Tesla, right? So I want to give Ford credit for coming out with the F-150 Lightning as quickly as we perceived it to be, right? Because only about, 2.5 years after any news about this, they had a truck on sale.
Yeah, they beat them to the market for sure.
Yeah, they beat this to the market. I mean, they didn't beat Rivian or Hummer to the market.
And you can't cut yourself on the Ford like you can cut yourself on the Cybertruck.
Ow.
In fact, Nathan did cut himself on this corner.
Yeah, this is, I don't know if this is going to be collectible, Roman. I think those guys at Pebble Beach are wrong.
Really?
Really, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember, we used to do stories about this. There are 3 elements of collectability. Low production numbers.
Yes.
Right? 2 doors.
Yes.
And convertible.
Yes.
Those are kind of the laws of collectability.
Well, for cars, I'm not sure if those laws apply to trucks.
There's not a lot of collectible trucks in the world of
Yeah, there's not a lot of collectible
of
trucks.
automotive.
And that's because trucks are tools. So before we go and talk about expensive trucks and answer some more questions, which do you think works better as a tool? If you were to get a truck and you needed to do towing, hauling, landscaping, which of the two would you get? Which one do you think is a better tool? And that's a tough answer.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to advertise, it's going to be the Cybertruck, right? If you get
I've seen a lot of businesses with their logos.
If you get a poop dog, service, then this will get attention.
Yeah, but Roman,
Whereas that blends into the rest of the automotive
if you have
world.
a doo-doo pickup service for your dog and this shows up, I think I'm paying too much for somebody to pick up my doo-doo.
Oh yeah, I'm going to charge you $500 a month to go clean up after your tiny ass dog.
No, I picked the Ford, but not particularly this one. Even though this is an extended range Lariat and it's super comfortable and nice, it has no bed liner, it has no maximum towing package on this one, no brake controller, it has no bed liner. So I'm pretty upset by this.
All right, so here's my take on that.
Yes.
When we first got our Cybertruck, I called this a cybercar because I did not think that this was a truck. So I just thought it was, an exercise in social media where Tesla is very good at building vehicles that do cutesy things that are very TikTokable, but that aren't really good at what they are, which is, cars or trucks. And I've completely done a 180 on this, and I'll tell you why. So when we first got this, the first thing I did was move a bunch of furniture with it, and it worked great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we moved it all the way to Moab, which is not exactly close, right?
Yeah.
And then I also thought it kind of was going to be crap off-road because I saw all those videos of Cybertrucks, getting stuck in a little bit of snow or trying to haul a Christmas tree out and getting stuck. And we took it to Moab, and it was crap, right? But then Tesla gave us the magic update where all of a sudden both lockers worked. And now I still think it's crap, but not because of the reason you might think. It's actually very capable off-road, but because of the air suspension, you really have to air down these tires unless you want to break your back. The ride is, for such a long wheelbase vehicle, the ride is not fantastic off-road, but in terms of capability off-road, it's actually not bad. Certainly, much better than the first generation Hummer EV that we had that was so heavy that we, You know, it was like taking an elephant up the trail. This, much better than that. Not great in terms of ride quality, because when you jack it up, you don't have much suspension travel, if any, so you really got to air down, but otherwise, it's good. And then I also thought that, you know, it was very polarizing, and people just, you know, hated it. And I was driving it around, and I got a lot of thumbs down, and people were just very negative. And then we wrapped it, and it kind of changed all that. People just, you know, 9 out of 10 people give you a thumbs up when they see this. So I've kind of come full, you know, 180 degrees around my thinking about the Cybertruck.
And it's also easy to drive. Just like I said, we had it in Iowa just, a couple of weeks ago. The Cybertruck is pretty easy to drive. Grant was mentioning it lacks character, right? I mean, but any electric vehicle, you know, it's hard to find character when you're...
It's not a TRX or, you know, for the price.
No, it's not a Raptor R.
You could have a Raptor, or hell, you could have a regular Raptor.
Yes. I picked this one, Roman, because, well, first of all, you saw how big the frunk is, right?
Yeah.
It's about twice the size. Last week, we went out to a video shoot. We had 4 of us in the cab, and we had gear. Where do you put the gear? We don't have a tonneau cover. All the gear went in here, and it was really comfortable.
Yeah.
So that was nice. When I look at the work truck capability, off-road is not top on my list, right? But gravel roads and, you know, rough, muddy roads, I think this truck can handle, especially with special tires.
I would say if that wasn't the Lariat, if that was the small battery truck, you know, when those were in the 50s,
yeah,
I'd give it to that all the time. Because, you know, for half as much money as this, you're actually getting a very usable electric truck that you can charge up at home. You know, if you have a landscape business, pull a lawnmower around or a tractor, and then, you know, have enough charge to get back home and recharge it or get to the charger. But right now, when you're looking at, you know, 100K versus, how much is this guy?
84.
Yeah, I think this has more tech and more usability in a lot of ways.
So I was just on the online configurator for Ford for the F-150 Lightning, and their base price for the small battery truck, which is 98 kilowatt hours, is $62,995. So basically 63 grand. It is, it does qualify for that $7,500 tax rebate or tax benefit. But that's still a lot of money, dude. We're talking about 65 with a couple of options, or 70, or 75, or 80. And it seems like Ford is moving kind of in the wrong direction, it looks like, with pricing on this truck.
The problem with the Tesla Cybertruck is that it's become political, right? And people like put their own politics onto it. And, you know, they forget that this is built in Texas by an American company.
This is built in Michigan by an American company.
Yeah.
Yes.
But people seem to forget that about Tesla, whereas they kind of inherently just know it about Ford. So are there any questions we can answer before we start talking about very expensive trucks and why they've gotten so expensive?
They said we should send Case to Mexico so he can open a field office. I mean, that's not a bad suggestion.
It is the bad suggestion. There's a lot of vehicles there that we could certainly review that we don't get here. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, Andre just went down to Texas with Tommy, where they actually drove the new BYD Shark. And let's talk about that for a second, Andre. What were your feelings of the BYD Shark that, you know, maybe you didn't talk about in the video? Did you think it was ready for prime time? Would you buy it, in other words, for $48,000? So let's talk about the Shark. So the Shark is a plug-in hybrid, but it's really what's called an EREV, an electric range extending vehicle.
That's most of its function.
Yeah.
It functions mostly as a range extender.
Yeah, so it's like your i3, where it's an electric vehicle, but it has a big engine that then charges up the battery. So you can either charge up the battery and drive it in all electric mode, or you can fill it up with gas and drive it until the battery dies, and then the gas motor charges up the battery.
It was very impressive. There's many comments on that video had to do with reliability, and also there's a lot of push against China, right? I mean, it's also very, very political. But for me, if I remove the politics out of it, if I just look at the vehicle as its merits, yeah, I almost wanted to buy it right there. There's a couple of issues. The brakes felt really grabby, and
so they haven't got the regen dialed.
Not very tuned, not perfectly tuned, and also suspension was very bouncy. But those in my mind, you know, are small issues. Reliability was another huge comment that we got. How reliable is it? Is it going to explode? You know, is it going to catch fire? Is it going to do this or that? We don't. I mean, there's not enough data to show one way or another with that truck.
What we do know is it costs a lot less than these two.
It's about 50 grand.
Yeah.
So I think at that money, yeah, it also doesn't tow very much, dude. 5,500 pounds of towing in the Shark.
It's a mid-sized truck, right?
It's a mid-sized truck, and it's good for kind of as a runabout. I think in order for them to break into the American market, they really need something bigger and more capable.
I knew it was going to be pretty good because of how hard the American manufacturers are working to make sure it stays out of our market. You know what I mean? Right now we have 100% tariff on anything Chinese, but that of course can easily be overcome by building the vehicle in Mexico because of the North American Trade Agreement, so you can build it in Mexico and then import it here without a tariff. Unless of course you change the rules, which is possible.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on it. That's why we did the video. Yeah. We didn't do a video because I want to move to China and and live there and promote Chinese companies. No, we did it because
it's one of the newest and most interesting tech. And basically, hopefully, Ram will come out with an EREV as well,
which they are supposed to.
Which they're supposed to, but it seems to be getting delayed and delayed and delayed.
Yeah, where's the Ram Charger? I mean, it's supposed to come out early next year, but we have seen no news about it.
Yeah,
recently.
Stellantis is in some trouble right now in a lot of different ways. The other thing I think that's important about that conversation, Andre, is that people say they believe in free markets, but all of a sudden when jobs are at stake, which they are, because you've got UAW workers who are building, well, not this one, but that one for sure.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden that argument goes out the window when it's your livelihood at stake, and I completely understand that. And that's why I think the American companies are so worried about it, because the truck is good. It does stuff that, right now nothing on the American market can do. It's certainly going to be a disruptor if it ever makes it here.
Yeah, and it says the Shark can also power the front wheels with the internal combustion engine.
So it's like a Volt. So
it's basically like
that begs the question, GM built the Volt, what was that, 12 years ago now? Maybe
yes.
Longer?
GM, where are you?
Why haven't they stuck that powertrain or that concept?
In Colorado.
In Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, GM.
Or do you think people would just naturally be like, oh, I hate this, it's electrified, I want my 4-banger, or better yet, my 8-cylinder.
Yeah, so we don't have any other comments at this moment, so let's talk a little bit about heavy duties, right? Specifically, because most of them seem to be approaching $100,000 limit, right? Or some of them are actually stepping over $100,000. We're talking about 84X AEV edition trucks. These are big heavy duties with diesel engines. Lots of capability, right? They can tow 18,000 pounds, some of them 20,000 pounds. They have tons of torque and just a lot of payload capability.
Look, here's my take on it, right? I think when you're talking about, let's call it Power Stroke F-250 King Ranch, right? Which is going to approach 100K. You're no longer talking to the guy who works a 9-to-5 job. This is the boss of the company. Mm-hmm. And now you're kind of getting into the realm of, where watches are with I have an Apple Watch, but people who wear Rolexes, or people who buy, let's say, very expensive cars, Ferraris, and that's really where you're getting into that. And the manufacturers want to go there because they make a lot more money selling that truck than they do the work truck. And yes. All of you guys out there and all the comments are like, I want an affordable truck, I want an affordable truck. And I want an affordable truck as well, but if you're GM or Ford or Stellantis, you're going to make a lot more money on the expensive trucks. And at the end of the day, if people are buying them, then why wouldn't you build them?
And then we talked to several dealers in the area, and they're like, we're selling the most expensive trucks.
Yeah.
That's what they're selling.
And here's the other argument that people sometimes forget about. Right now, gas prices are pretty low, historically, right? Of course, some people think they're not, but I just filled up for $3.20 a gallon. And one of the reasons that gas prices are so low is because of these. Right? There isn't as much demand for gas because now we're starting to get to the point where there's 10% electric vehicles, and so if you have 10% less demand for gasoline, unless you have
the price will come down.
The price will come down. And so for all of you guys out there who hate electric cars and trucks, you may want to consider the fact that the reason gas is cheap is because people are buying these because there's less demand for gas, and so prices are lower.
And also, let's look at those expensive diesels, right? The heavy-duty trucks. For example, my wife's cousin, he owns a small business, right? Transport business. He ships cars around the country. And he has the King Ranch and the Platinums, right? He's got those, big, expensive trucks. And for him, it makes sense. It's his job, right? He spends a lot of time in his vehicle. He wants to be comfortable. Also, it's a tax advantage. He can, get some of that value because of his business. So I think for a lot of companies, it makes sense.
And you just brought a point where we should keep this over the new year. Because this is a tax advantage for this right now.
Hey, we should keep it to at least a few more months.
And there's so much, I was reading a story this morning about Cybertrucks, and it said Cybertruck prices are crashing.
Yes.
And they said they're down to $99,000.
Wait, what?
For this. And I'm like, that's how much it costs new. So how is that crashing? Yeah, sure, they were 150, 160 when it first came out. I get it, but they're still not going below the value of a new one, at least not yet.
Chris from Pennsylvania says, don't forget about the ID Buzz. We're getting one.
We're getting one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. That's going to crash. $70,000 Volkswagen is going to be way over the market, Andre.
Yeah, and small range.
Yeah.
235 miles
of range. Yeah, that's crazy.
But okay.
It's going to have a lot of buzz around the buzz, so we committed to it, so we're going to do it. And the dealer that we're buying it from has been nothing but terrific with us. So we're actually going to pick it up in Pennsylvania very soon, sometime next month, hopefully, and then drive it, road trip it back to Colorado, which will be interesting with a car with only 230 miles of range.
And final question, I think, for this show.
Yeah.
Gary Clark is asking, this moment, Roman, which truck would you pick right now to drive to Los Angeles if you had to go to LA?
I'd pick the Cybertruck.
I would too.
Yeah.
It's the network.
Yeah.
It's the Tesla network. I think I would
And
jump.
even though that is also available, you have to have a dongle. And I actually charged the Mach-E on a Tesla supercharger not that long ago.
Did it work okay?
Yeah, it worked okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it worked okay, but that was one charger where there were a bunch of Ford people standing around, so I'm sure they made sure that worked. I'm not saying that's not going to work on all the chargers. I would just still like to drive this because this is so integrated. It's like an Apple product, love it or hate it. It's integrated into that world so that when you put in, let's say, Las Vegas, it'll tell you how long to drive, where to charge, how long you're going to spend charging.
It'll do it instantly.
Instantly.
It'll calculate everything.
Yeah, whereas the Ford is not quite there yet.
Yeah, the Ford is like 98% there on software integration.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But if I wanted a work truck, I would definitely get that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Lariat, something more simple.
Yeah, maybe not the Lariat.
Something more simple. Yeah.
And if I wanted an off-road truck, I get this. And if I didn't want to scream, I'm driving something crazy, I would get that. Well, guys, thank you for watching us. We really appreciate that you tune in and not the Apple reveal of the iPhone 16, which we somehow stupidly decided to put
coincide with.
Yeah, coincide with. As always, head on over to All TFL. If you want to see Andre's review of the Shark, head on over there. And what are we going to have as a comparison?
Yeah, so we were comparing the BYD Shark to the Rivian R1T and the Cybertruck in Texas. So that's coming tomorrow. So come back for that to alltfl.com. We have a drag race between the Cybertruck and several TRXs. Come back for that. And more, a lot more.
Yeah, I'm going to get to drive the McLaren Artura and get this.
What?
And the Rolls-Royce Spectre.
Spectre?
Yeah.
So you moving up not 100,000, you moving up
Dude, I'm going
300, 400.
You could buy both of these for the cost of the Spectre and have money left over for a Raptor Ranger and have money wrapped over for a Raptor R and have money left over to pay your taxes.
Wow.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Thanks.